Okowa is narrating how former President Goodluck Jonathan practically separated fights during the most challenging times of his political career. Before we go into the details of today's news, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do well to subscribe. Turn on the post notification bell so that you can be the first person to get notified whenever we upload a new video. Help us grow this channel by giving this video a massive thumbs up so that it gets recommended to other YouTube viewers all around the world. Lastly, leave your opinions in the comment section below. Without further ado, let's delve right into the details of today's news. How Jonathan physically separated fights during my most challenging political moment, Okowa. Immediate past governor of Delta State, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, following successive stints as commissioner, secretary to the state government, senator, and 2 terms as governor, is presently on what is aficionado's term as an interlude. Senator Okowa, a medical doctor turned politician, has excelled beyond the imagination of that small boy from Esigi House in Edo College, Benin, and the bookworm his colleagues at the University of Ibadan thought of. However, his path to political glory, as was witnessed by the mainstream of a political class in Delta State a week ago at his homecoming in Owa, Ikan Northeast, was, however, paved with many trials and tribulations, both politically and in the realm of governance of Edo State. Hours before he stepped down penultimate week, the former governor sat down with some of the country's leading media chiefs and reviewed his stewardship, snags, and successes of a political career many of his supporters believe is yet to climax. Asked about the most challenging times of his political career, Okowa shocked many when he looked beyond the shocks of the 2023 presidential election, the intrigues of the 2014 governorship primaries, to the 2010 Senate primaries that eventually brought him to the national limelight. He told a story, and I quote, "Politically, maybe you may not know, the most challenging moment was making up my mind to go to the Senate. I did not wish to go to the Senate then, not because I hated to be in the Senate, but I just thought somehow, did I need to? Because there was a lot of pressure when I was SSG, a lot of pressure. In 2010 January, the party chairman then, Peter Onwa-Obichi, came to me and said, 'Governor wants you to go to the Senate,' and I said, 'I doubt if I want to go to the Senate, and I doubt if I want to run any election.' He said, 'If he comes back, tell him.' Governor traveled then and end of January. He came back and sent for me, and he said he wanted me to go to the Senate. Me, I had a difficulty in my hand. I had already called Victor Oche, Speaker Emeritus, Delta State House of Assembly, and I had told him, why don't you prepare for the Senate? But Victor Oche did not answer me in the affirmative, as he said that he wanted to think about it. But the governor told me not to think about Oche, that Oche will not go to the Senate, that he wanted me to go to the Senate. I was confused. I told him to give me time to think about it. I came back to him at the end of April after 3 months. I said, okay, if that is what he wanted that I would prepare myself to run for it. Of course, by July, I had to resign, and people were wondering, why would I resign? But I wanted to make contact with the people, and I couldn't combine SSG with that position because one of it must suffer. As I moved on, I met all manner of things. It was very frustrating. If you will remember, that election was run 3 times under coverage by channels because there were powers that be. It was very frustrating, but somehow, by God's grace, God sent people to push me through. Funny enough, our acting national chairman, Mohammed Aliero, had never met with me, but we had to defend me in the presidency, and from what I was told, he had to go into a physical combat with Dr. Ali, who was the former chairman, to ensure that I was enabled to have a repeat primary. And that was even after I had initially been declared winner, because he had gotten an instruction from the presidency that my name must be replaced. I was told that the president had to separate both of them, and the man said, I am the acting chairman. I will not send Dr. Mrs. Ali. The best I can do is to give 48 hours for reconduct. How I managed to go into that primary, because I was as good as not having anything, and I was told that the primary must be televised yet again, and I had nothing. Meanwhile, the same Nwabuchi, who was my chairman, who came to invite me to run for the race, came with over 100 thugs that day as the presiding chairman of the state to try to stop me. But God saw us through. It is frustrating sometimes to run an election, but what that thing did for me was that it drew me closer to people. When the police were shooting their guns, nobody moved. They all sat in their seats and nobody was fighting and nobody moved. When we were moving in for the election, a little over 2,000 delegates that were with me all decided that we would trek from my residence to the venue. It was a lot of support, a lot of encouragement. The former governor said, "You all, this is a story coming from Okowa, who ran as the vice presidential candidate for the PDP party in the last election." You guys, let me have your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think? Subscribe if you haven't. Like this video. I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.